Last.
I thought this was EVE Online.
Are we playing Pong? I thought it was Pong. No Pong. You know, the good old days.
I know. Like this Pong. But Pong had no avatars. Actually, it had avatars. Joe, you're breaking up. Okay, guys, I'm live. Quiet, please. Just for until the top of the hour. That was good in time. Are you watching the stream? This was really accurate timing.
What?
Well, we have so many more viewers than when we stream from Sansar. Isn't that weird? It's almost like Second Life is a lot bigger. Full of life.
It's alive.
Okay, 1 minute. All right. Hello and welcome to the Drax Files Radio Hour with Joe Yardley live from SL15B. And folks on YouTube, tell me right away how my audio is. I'm very paranoid about audio. This is the Drax Files Radio Hour. We're live from SL15B. And I'm here am I here with Joe Yardley? Is Joe Yardley even here? Because, are you here, Joe?
I'm here. Are you here?
I don't know where I am.
Is any of us here?
What is it? Oh God, the philosophy. Joe, it's good to see you. So you made it into Second Life. I thought you still have issues. I mean, bandwidth with your rural location and all that.
Well, only in moments like these when there are a lot of people and a lot of lag, someone expects me to use my voice. Oh.
Last time I checked, podcasts are voice driven, so to speak. We're in the
via Skype.
All right, so let's not get into semantics. So we're here in Second Life, and we're also streaming this into Sansar, into the basement where there's a bunch of people sitting around and they're watching us. And I'm gonna watch the. My Jackie is manning the world in Sansar, and he says the audio is awesome in Sansar, which is awesome. And we're on YouTube and we're on Twitch. So YouTube folks, chime in as we're going here and asking questions and reminiscing and thinking about the future of Second Life. And I'll try to incorporate whatever comes in through the chat in whatever world into the conversation. We have 90 minutes, so let's get started. SL15B Second Life is 15. I don't know if the official day is June 23rd. That's how I wrote it down in my head. I don't know if there's an official day, but SL15B is a community celebration. It's gigantic, and I want to start not from left to right, but from right to left, because Diana Fire is here with us, as she is almost every year since we've been doing this live show. And maybe Diana, you can give us some stats about like how big this thing is here, because on Saturday we're going to do a tour with Donnie, and we're going to go through the highlights of the builds. But this is gigantic, right? This is like 9 sims, or how big is this? Diana? Uh-oh.
Oh, I'm sorry. Kitten's screaming.
Diana has a
It's
cat, and
24 regions.
the cat doesn't understand anything about live programming. I don't know who raised this cat, but I think this
He's
cat needs
3 weeks old.
Okay, well, I forgive him, her. All right, so what? Yeah, how big is this thing?
24 regions.
Damn. And how many people are involved, roughly, on the administrative staff, and how many residents are building, and yeah, I mean, what is the scope of the people involved?
Enormous.
Hmm.
That's the best answer I can give you.
Do you guys actually start every year when
It's
the thing closes? Do you guys start planning the next one? Like, post game is after the game is before the game, basically.
No, we really don't do a post-mortem. I think usually because we are all so exhausted that we need time. And we might talk to each other off and on throughout the year. But every year, Doc sends me 2 emails. Happy New Year and get ready.
That's what I mean. I mean, you have like a couple months off or whatever, or you have until the new year, and then you plan it again.
This is about 7 months.
So a lot of people are building here. This is all community driven. I mean, I'm not stating anything that the viewers probably don't know. So this is something where Linden Lab is not involved in. How are they involved? They give you the sims, the regions, and they say, okay, go fill it with stuff.
No, they actually built some things this year.
They did? The
Well, the
Lindens?
moles did.
The moles? Who are
Oh.
these moles?
Ah,
We have
There's
moles?
a big shiny one on the end of the couch.
Wait a minute, let me turn the camera around. What the heck is this thing? Abner Mole. Ah! Oh, close
I'll
that
keep it
thing down.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna actually go left to right to right to left. So why not close in? Okay, so Diane, I'm gonna jump to Abner Mole. So you guys are building something. Can you define for me briefly what a mole is? Because for the longest, I've been in Second Life since 2007, and I really didn't know what a mole is for the longest time. What are moles?
Well, moles are people who work for the Linden Department of Public Works. We
Hmm.
are not Lindens. We're freelancers that the lab hires us to make things kind of in a like the name sounds, like a public works
Hmm.
fashion. Roads, bridges, infrastructure. Not actual like technical infrastructure, more things around the grid, games, and all kinds of projects and things that we make for the lab.
Is
And
there?
that's the mole. And we
Yeah.
work kind of in the background, so that's why kind of the mole
public
underground thing
toilets.
kind of fits.
Hold on, Joe, you're breaking up a little bit. You want to chime in here? Joe, can't hear you.
No, I said something 5 minutes ago,
Mm.
but I think it got lost.
Now you got to go back in time and grab it, and then go forward and let me know when you got it. Uh, Abner, what? Wow, this is the most amazing Drax Files radio hour where's my cell phone? I want to chime in with my cell phone. No,
Sorry, letting that go to voicemail.
no problem. Abner, I was wondering, because you mentioned games, so you guys have been building uh games as well. Now, do you chime in? How does this work? Do you have meetings where you put in your 2 cents, saying, we should maybe build this, or there's an opportunity, there's kind of like a gap that has not been filled because you are on the ground. Is it also maybe that you're you pitch things, or are you just executing stuff that comes from the higher echelon?
It's a little bit of both. You can ask Patch about this later, but usually what happens is they will come to us with an idea of what they want, and then we all kind of put our ideas into it as how we can flesh it out. So they kind of
Hmm.
give us the skeleton, and we put the flesh around it, and come up with ideas to how to make it, interesting and functional, and what the goal is that we want to do, and build all of the scripting and the mesh, and all of the guts of the thing, and put it all together.
Let's throw it to Patch, and then we'll close into the middle. Patch, you're the who are you? Are you the boss of these moles? Are you pushing them around?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm like the main mole wrangler.
The
I
whack-a-moler?
have yeah, sort of. You know, I've been actually overseeing them for quite some time now, and like Abner said, whenever we think about doing projects and stuff, there's a lot of kind of collaboration on whenever we want to tackle something. Sometimes I come up with ideas, sometimes other folks in the lab come up with it, sometimes they come up with their own ideas. And just depending on, what we're doing and working on, we pick from those ideas and move forward with a project.
You guys built a couple of really cool games this last year that I really like. So is this also a function of, okay, we got this functionality, pathfinding or whatever features coming, uh, that you're trying
Yeah,
to showcase that new feature? Because I always joke around my friend Loki Elliott. I always joke like, you know, Loki Elliott is always like the first guy who puts a feature in. I mean, who puts a feature into effect into some really cool thing, and I was thinking like the Linden sitting there like, who's gonna use our new shiny feature? Oh yeah, Loki Elliott will do something, and the minute it comes out, he does it. But is that also makes I guess it makes it a priority, right? Or um, to showcase the shiny new stuff that you guys put into the engine.
yeah. One of the main missives of the team is, in fact, to build demonstrations of our features within the product.
Hmm.
Everything from experience tools on up. Whether we're doing new avatar work, things like mesh rigging, Animesh, Bento, being some of the later things that we've worked on. Uh, you know, I mentioned experience tools. A lot of our games and stuff like that kind of take experience tools to the bleeding edge to show people just how powerful they can be and how much you can do with them. So yeah, a lot of what we do is actually for demonstration. We actually also provide documentation, and in a lot of cases, we open source a lot of our work and stuff to actually just kind of hand it back to the community and say, hey, look, we did this really big, huge thing, and here's how you do it. So that's a lot of what we do.
For SL15B, do you get any pushback that you guys are exhibiting, or is the relationship between you guys and the residents pretty good?
I think it's been really great. We worked with the team very closely this year, not only to provide and increase the amount of space available, but we also did some of our own stuff. The Tapestry of Time region is a good example of that. If you haven't checked it out yet, I
Oh, we're gonna do
encourage
that
everybody to do
Saturday.
so.
That's cool. I'm gonna take
Yep,
a note
a
right
lot of
now.
fun.
Tapestry of Time. I'm going to actually, I thought about how to open this show, and I'm gonna do that right now. I'm gonna go to Linda. Linda, thank you for joining us. We talked already prior to the show about um, you've been a mentor, you've been a greeter here. You also brought
Mm-hmm.
people or onboarded people in the physical realm. Some people call it real life. I heard that the correct term is actually the physical realm. And we talked a little bit about this interesting, I don't know, rejection of Second Life within people who are used to games and stuff like that. Could you kind of recount like this challenge when you brought people into Second Life in your role as an educator, and they were kind of, whatever age group that was.
Yeah.
What is the biggest problem? Because this is sort of an overarching theme. Joe and I talk about this on the show a lot. Like, why is Second Life not bigger than it is? Why is it not
Yeah.
huge? What are the obstacles? Why is the retention not where it should be? And it's a miracle for us who are so enthusiastic about it. But your experience with onboarding people, what did you encounter was the obstacle where people didn't embrace Second Life the way you thought they would?
I think, well, first, thanks for having me. I've brought mostly students, first graduate students working on their master's in business administration, and now I work primarily with undergraduate students. And one of the biggest, if not the biggest, barrier is the ramp up time.
Mhm.
The learning curve is fairly steep, and as we talked about before, if you have a group of young people, say millennials and younger, who are gamers, this is not a game to them. And it's not a game because it doesn't have rules. You walk into any video game and you know exactly what to do, depending upon which role you take. In virtual worlds, especially Second Life, you can come here and stand there, and if you don't do anything, then your experience is not that good. So one of the biggest issues we as educators have is in creating activities for students that make them explore. So for me, their first introduction was to do scavenger hunts, and I'd have them all over the grid looking for things.
Mhm.
And that gives them a structure that is game-like. Another thing we do is game within within Second Life, so that they can play games or create something. And since I teach operations management, which is in the business school, I have them run their own businesses for a little while. So it's yeah, that's the biggest barrier. And but once they get started, one of the things that surprised me more than anything else was how much the men wanted to change everything, especially the hair.
Ah,
The women most of the time would pick their avatar and they're on, they're off. But the
really?
guys want to change. And I'm like, I don't really believe this. Usually in real life, it's women who care about their appearance.
Okay, so men,
That
if men are
was,
confronted with the ability to to change their hair, they're
they would
vain.
do it.
They're really vain. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, and it was really funny because I used to put, I'll say 25 or 30 of them in a lab and set them down at the computer and walk them through coming in, picking their avatar, etc. And the first thing they want to do is change their appearance, which is really surprised me at the beginning. Now I just automatically teach them how to do it.
That's hilarious. Linda, real quick, I can understand you. I'm just ask the folks on the stream if you could go closer to your mic a little bit. And folks on the stream, can you hear us? Okay, let us know. Just type in
Yep.
yes, no, or whatever in the middle. If you go
Okay.
a little bit closer, here we go. Then I can bring you down.
Is
And
that better?
yeah. Just a little
Okay.
closer. Perfect.
Is
Now,
that better?
yeah, that's great. Now,
Okay.
now, Joe, let me bring you in. I hope that you're in your hideout there, in your nuclear bunker where you're hiding after you ran away from
Shh, top
Amsterdam
secret.
because of all the stoner Australians that are congregating there. Dude, doesn't Joe Yardley live in Amsterdam, dude? Abner knows what I'm talking about.
That's not an Australian accent.
Then you do it. You do it, Joe. Please.
Oh yeah.
Austrian, Australian, it's all the same.
Oh, what are you doing, mate?
I
Oh
don't know.
yeah. What are you going on about?
Let me get back to the chopper. No, Joe, you. All right, serious. I know this is a birthday celebration, so we're a little tipsy. 15
Yeah, we're
years.
all very drunk.
15 years. This is amazing. So Joe, what is this? We're talking about this unbridled creativity, and but at the same time, we're talking about these problems of not growing and retention and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, Second Life's been around for 15 years in a stable fashion. which is actually pretty huge and not really seen a lot in technology or in platform offerings. So the sustainable success of Second Life is pretty huge. Joe, why is Second Life actually so successful? What does it provide? And we had this a little bit on last show. You can't really get into Sansar because of bandwidth issues right now. Why is Second Life huge? And why do people not want to even go to other places right now? The masses.
Right. You want a short, easy explanation for that question that we've been talking about on the radio for years?
Joe, I thought you had a
Literally.
marketing background. Why can't you put this into a nice soundbite? Come on.
All right. Freedom and usability. There you go.
Freedom and usability. It's almost like the slogan: fun, fast. What was M. Linden's thing back then in 2008? Can anybody
I don't
recall?
remember that.
Fast, easy, fun.
Furious.
Fast, easy, fun. Actually, that's
Furious. Furious is better, I reckon.
fast and furious fun. Yeah,
Just furious. Just.
Linda, you were.
But yeah,
were you
it
saying?
is.
So go ahead.
No, go ahead. Everybody, yeah. Joe.
But it is. There are a lot of things to talk about and to look at, and why Second Life worked out in some ways and didn't in other ways. I think the main issue here is what keeps people going is freedom. That you can literally pretty much do whatever you want, almost. Where in the world can I go without any 3D software experience?
Oops.
Build 1920s Berlin, get people from all over the world to come and live with me and go to movies together and do all these things together. I don't know anywhere when I can do that.
Yeah, that was a little compressed. Joe was dead a little bit, and then she came in
Oh,
rushing.
sorry.
No, that's okay. You're saying like where can you build that? Where can you rent that? So the economic aspect is a part of it.
There's nowhere, but even without money, there is. I mean, it's nice that I make money with it, but there is nowhere that I know where I can do what I'm doing in Second Life. I mean, there just isn't. I can't build 1920s Berlin anywhere else at this moment. That includes Sansar.
I'd agree. Joe, I run in my other Second Life. I run a jazz club. I couldn't afford to do that in real life, but I can do it here, and I can hear and assist other people in hearing and experiencing jazz musicians, real live ones that they would not be able to hear otherwise. So, flexibility, freedom to be who you want, what you want, with whom you want, is something that I think keeps people coming back.
I want to go to Pookie, and then we're gonna take the rounds, and we can all chime in, and we can talk over each other and whatnot. I'm so thrilled that Pookie Amsterdam is here. I haven't seen Pookie for a while. Pookie is of course I don't know. Oh my God, your resume is longer than my collection of white socks and flip flops that I have at home. All right, they can't all be gems. Nobody's laughing. That's fine. Pookie, how are you? Are you doing okay? Pookie is the host of several very successful game shows, a pioneer in machinima production. You're still doing tons of machinima. She was the co-writer, co-producer of the Fluffy on a machinima series. Actually, I should just pan over. I think Fluffy's in the audience over there somewhere. Where is he? Here he is. He is in the audience. Can you hear me okay, Pookie? All right. She can't hear me. Well, then we're going to go to Plan B. And Plan B is a topic that I actually wanted to start with, but let's do this
Can
now.
you hear me?
Oh,
Can
now
you
I
hear me
can.
now?
Yes, now I can hear you.
I didn't. I just like technology. I didn't push the right button.
No,
And I
Pookie,
had a little poem So I'm going to say it again. Hey, everybody, let's have some fun. You only live but twice, and when you log off, you're done. So let the SL15B bash begin. And I love you, Drax. I'm so happy to see you. I'm verklempt. I'm verklempt here. I am
Verklemmt.
totally verklempt. Yeah.
Pookie.
I would like.
Yes. No, go. You go right ahead. Take it where you will. I mean, I don't want to host the host here. You're the host. I learn from you.
Well, maybe we can bring out the real maniac later. Maybe Fluffy will make an appearance. But what I want to say is a couple of things about Second Life. I really found so much here. And back in 2008, I guess 2009, 2008, when I really came to stay, there was a big education community and a huge science community.
Mhm.
If I was Linden Lab, I would have done everything in my power to keep these people because they were not only paying rent, they were bringing in scores of people into Second Life. I mean, where else did you have people, educators in universities who were actually encouraging students and other people to be in world? I think that was a great resource that they really should have done everything to keep. The other thing I think Second Life should have considered, I mean, what the hell happened to greenies? You had some builds here. You had those museums, places that in real life would have been entered into some kind of historical society database. And the point being not that, these people stopped paying rent, but they had created something so unbelievable that would bring other people in, from all over the world to see some of the phenomenal builds. And I truly urge the powers that be at Linden Lab to think about it. I mean, I understand one of the business model is we get paid for the rent, and right? But you also want attractions. You want things that are going to bring people in. There was a museum. Was it the Dresden Museum? I mean, my God.
Oh, yeah.
Go there and see, right? Works of art, gorgeous works of art. These places should have been kept and put into some kind of historical, some kind of historical register, because the more cool, unbelievable, groovy things that there are, the more that people will come here. The other thing that I want to say is I will never understand in my life this kind of thinking, and made so publicly. I'm in Second Life all the time. I hate it. It's awful. The negativity of our own residents about this platform shot us in the foot. And there were amazing people who were very big and made a lot of noise, because they couldn't res something, or they're, you had a prim skirt. I don't know. I don't know. But the complaining, I think, people complain, right? And you need freedom to complain in this lifetime. I'm a woman. I totally get it. But I will say, I think some of the negativity from just our own residents, also, didn't bode well, or didn't go well for our grid here. Anyway,
let me pick it up here, but this is I'm super glad that you put these things on the table. I actually wanted to address them, and it's really, you get us off to a great start here. So I'm summarizing real brief. So you're talking about retention and growth and all that kind of stuff. Basically, your suggestion was, or is, that it was a missed opportunity to support specific communities, education communities, science communities, to have them stay to facilitate that. Well, we know that there was a hike in tier that kind of pissed a lot of people off, and they never came back. And the other thing that you're suggesting, I think, is that somehow, I guess through a grant program, certain high quality sims would have been sustained. They could have stayed, and they wouldn't have to shut down. so those are really good. I'm gonna throw this to Patch, and I don't want to put you on the spot. Take it where you will, but I find that interesting, and there is actually stuff that is being done. I'm not an expert, and I'm not following this too closely, but I hear every once in a while that a sim is being supported, a sim is being paid for, or Linden picks up the tab and brings sims back. The other thing that you're saying, before we go to these kind of programs or these suggestions that you have, and talk about, oh, Patch Linden is asking what's a sim.
Right. You don't want to make anybody jealous. Let me tell you. Right. Why wasn't mine picked?
Okay, well, hold on.
It was better, but it would have to be some kind of either a vote by the residents, and I'm not saying every build, but I mean, Jesus Christ, greenies?
Greenies
That should have stayed.
Right.
I can't actually.
Patch,
I've talked about it before.
yeah, jump in here.
We actually have something called the Second Life Region Preservation Society. It largely relies on us, though, to basically kind of become aware of or see something like a region, of historical significance. One of my favorite case examples being Svarga, or the SS Galaxy, right? The giant cruise ship that spans 3 regions. Those are large, well-known historical builds that have been in Second Life for a very long time that we became aware of at some point in time, that they were under threat of potentially going away. And if I'm made aware of these things, and if I see a fairly high bar of significance to a region like that, or regions, I do try to do things to try and save them. Mont Saint Michel is another one. There's actually probably about 24 regions running around, and or multiple region combinations running around out there that we have in fact saved. I can't save the whole grid, obviously.
Yeah. No,
that wouldn't lead to having a really great business model. But when that type of stuff does land on the radar and stuff, we actually do consider it, and we do try to do something.
And I know, and Patch, and I've known you for a little while, and I just want to say, I think that Pookie didn't say this in an accusatory way towards Linden Lab. I think this is a really important question to bring up and to clarify. What Patch is saying here is that there are people in within Linden Lab that are tasked to do this thing, but they need to be made aware of, and that's something that also actually bugs me. That this leads me to the complaining thing. People do tend to complain, and again, this is where Second Life is not. It's just a mirror of the physical world in terms of certain things that should be preserved, but they simply can't. There is no feasible business model. There's a lack of funds and all this kind of stuff, and there is little awareness. And frankly, sometimes when things go under, there's also mismanagement that should be laid at the feet of the person who ran it into the ground, and then it's hard for. Again, I'm not trying to be a Linden Lab apologist or anything. I'm just trying to provide this context. In terms of the complaining thing, I hear a lot of people complaining that Linden Lab doesn't do anything, and Patch is making a very good point, and I've made that point over the years repeatedly. If you want something done, you need to bring it to the attention of the Lindens in a coherent fashion. There is emails, there is forums, there is user group meetings, and so on and so forth. Now, I want to go.
If I can do it, anyone can.
Yeah, well, Joe, I mean, you have Ebbe on speed dial on your cell phone. When Ebbe was in Amsterdam, I met Ebbe in Amsterdam, and he said, Drax, I have 20 minutes because I gotta take a 5-hour train ride to meet with Frau for some stroopwaffeln. That's how important you are. No,
top secret.
Oh, right. Was that my inside voice again? God damn it. I want to now go through the round because Pookie, this is important. Now, there is terrible articles every once in a while. I mean, there's been a bunch of really good articles about Second Life lately. The whole VR thing actually brought Second Life and Linden Lab back into back into the light in a good way. And there's a lot of examples of well-written articles that acknowledge the significance of Second Life as sort of laying the groundwork for the current immersive VR worlds. But a couple of weeks ago, a dude named Joe Weeks or something released something on dig.com. Actually, got to look up that title of the article, exploring the digital ruins of Second Life. Joe Weeks is his name. This is by far.
I read that and it made me really angry.
Me too.
Yeah,
This is
me
by
too.
far the worst, and I thought it can't get any
Ridiculous.
worse. This is the
Nope.
worst garbage ever written. And it turns out the guy sent a message to Crap Mariner, who, think of him what you will. He can be abrasive, but he's a valued
Oh
member.
crap!
Pookie's like,
Love
"Oh,
him.
yeah. He sent a message to Crap and asked him to give him a tour through Second Life. Then Crap said, with all due respect, I'm not a good of a tour guide. Very, very nice. He published that exchange. Crap did. Very nice sort of rejection, but he mentioned Marianne McCann, who everybody here knows, very valued member of Bay City, my production manager for most machinimas. He mentioned Inara Pei, the blog goddess, as potential contacts. Joe Weeks said, "Oh, I'll get in touch with them." He didn't, and then he turns around and writes that hit piece, and it's a shame, and it's offensive to the max. Now, a friend of mine, Luca, put a video together, which I'm going to link on my blog, where he talks about that we as residents should be more pushing back actively to own the narrative, and I couldn't agree more. So, picking up from where Pookie left off about the complaining, let's flip this around. The question is, why do Second Lifers why are they not doing more?
Don't ask what your Second Life can do for you. Ask what you can do for your Second Life. I just made that up. I just made that up on the spot. I know it's quite brilliant.
That is pretty damn good, Joe. Okay, I'm going to go left to right. Abner, when you think about, you're working in this capacity. You can be so proud of your work and what the molds do. I don't know. Do you find yourself in conversations in your physical world where people dismiss Second Life? How do you push back, or do you push back, or you avoid the topic? How do you deal with this negativity that is out there in the blogosphere, and with sort of almost like a permission to dump on Second Life in a way that it's it's not okay to talk about, let's see, people with mental health issues, let's say. You don't write a hit piece on them, look at them, they're stupid. But for some reason it's okay with Second Life. So how do you deal with that, Abner? Abner fell asleep. That's fantastic.
He
Pookie,
might have stepped away.
what? Oh, he had to step away.
Yeah, he may have stepped away.
Okay. Patch,
Thing happened.
then let me throw this to you, Patch. Now, how do you deal with this? Can you kind of like, does this just wash over you? Do you take it personally? Take it where you will. Does it even come up with your real life friends, or how do you
No, I
compartmentalize that?
actually I don't take it personally, and kind of like what Pookie said earlier and stuff like that. When we bring up the topic of trying to save regions, can't save them all, etc. I don't take any of that personally. I actually take it as an opportunity to try and educate people more about what we do, what we're about, the benefits behind the platform, the accolades that we've achieved over the years. I always try to put as positive a spin on it as possible to try and get people to really understand that hey, because you may have heard this thing out there, that necessarily isn't what you should paint the entire picture over the entire platform about. So that's how I always approach it, as a learning experience and an opportunity for me to educate people more about what Second Life is, its values, what it brings to the table, etc.
But if
Can I just say something really fast?
please, yeah.
And the fact is, people are here so much of their time. That's how they can get so granular with their critique. And so the answer is kind of like, yes, you're finding some things that are, let's say, not perfect for you, but there's so much that is right. Let's talk about, some of that. And I think that's worthwhile. I really appreciate, Patch, that you push back in that way.
And it's my I'm completely taking blame for throwing these two things into one bag. Basically, the complaining within the community, but also sort of the lack of pushing back towards the negative outside. Now, Pookie, how would you suggest we, as Second Life enthusiasts, how can we turn it around and own this narrative again when we talk to people on the outside, when we push back on articles? I mean, I gotta really, like Diana said, I mean, I read this thing, exploring the digital ruins of Second Life. I got so mad, and that's usually a sign where I hear in my head, stop, walk away from the machine, don't
You don't even make Drax mad.
don't engage on Twitter or something. But
I really do.
Well, yeah, Joe does all the time.
How about something as basic as, share your story of how Second Life, changed your world, changed your real life. What has Second Life done for you lately? We're taking, short stories or 500 words, and we're going to be featuring that or pushing that out on a blog, and get some of the positives. I know people whose marriages have been saved in here, more than one story, and fascinating stories. How they've gotten closer with their children through being able to come into Second Life. My daughter is filming in Second Life now. I mean, Second Life did a lot for me in many ways. I'd be more than happy to submit 1,000 words. But the point is, there are many of us who found how we can fly. When you're young, you think anything's possible. After you reach maybe 35, it's like, maybe I can't do everything. This place has made so much possible, and I really encourage the powers that be to run some kind of, hip short story contest. Why not? And then get it out there.
That's not a bad idea. So Linden Lab could actually do that. I want to remind people of the What Second Life Means to Me campaign, where Patch made a video. This was sort of a video idea. I did one, Strawberry Singh did one, Patch did one, Ziola did one, a bunch of other Lindens. And so that was a great idea, and that sort of flooded the YouTubes with, I think it's a total of like 35 videos of individual stories. I mean, extremely powerful. Exactly. I actually also point to that all the time, because it was, some were done quite professionally, but some were done by people who maybe it was their first video. So it was also not only does it serve as a wonderful outreach tool because we got these videos out there, it also encouraged people to come a little bit out of their shell, because it didn't require to be seen in the physical world. But Patch,
your work, Drax, has done so much for Second Life, and your Drax files are so powerful and awesome. But I would like just to come back to the written word, because people reading, they can imagine it. If they're faced with a video, when we live here, we shoot machinima, we're very forgiving. Right?
Good point.
But if we want to bring people in, give them the words. Give them 500 words, 300 words, short story. Maybe with an accompanying picture. But I think, you drew the videos, Drax, because you got it down. You're a genius.
I wake up in the morning and I don't, it's just so formulaic at this point. I become my own satire. I know Joe's like, whoa, ain't that the truth? Joe, that's really mean.
Someone pass me a bucket.
Joe, that's really mean of you to think. But
I tried.
Pookie, I know what you say. I'm going to throw this to Linda to bring in some other voices. But Pookie, I think I know where you're going with this, because this is a good point. we talked about this in the past, that sometimes when you present a video from Second Life, people look at it and they don't understand, and they just look at it as sort of a cheap animated movie, like, some, I don't know, people who don't have any type of experience in visuals try to make some sort of a Pixar knockoff or whatever, and they don't understand that these are real people. And so maybe the written word is the key, because it does not lock you into the visuals, which a lot of people seem to have a problem with. I hear this time and again from my circle of friends where they go like, yeah, I don't know, the avatars look stupid or something like that. Linda, I was going to ask you, how do you deal with negative feedback that you get when you do onboarding, but also when, let's say, in a social situation, you talk about Second Life, and then somebody brings up, yeah, I heard about that. I read Exploring the Digital Ruins of Second Life, and it's got to be like, it's a cesspool. And so how do you, how are you do you encounter this? And then how do you deal with that?
Oh, I do quite a bit, especially from other professors who really don't understand.
Give us a quick background. So you're teaching at what kind of...
I teach at a university, and I teach in the business school, and I use Second Life to augment my classes and bring them in here so they can experience what I'm teaching. But in terms of the negative, you really don't try to address those negatives, because they're there. There are people who do those things. So I stress the positives. And one of the biggest ones for me, there are two. One is the work that the virtual ability people are doing. They're giving folks who have disabilities opportunities that they would not have. And the other is the education. There are quite a few educators who are still here, still working. I'm involved with the Virtual World's Best Practices in Education Conference, and it's getting bigger and better and more academically oriented. And so there are a lot of positives in that I stress. I don't try to say, oh, no, there's no negative about it. I just talk about the positives, and there are quite a few. I don't think I would have spent this much time in a place that wasn't worth my while to do. And my friends who know me know that I don't waste my time.
So that's actually a good point. So these are people who know you. It's basically just, they're looking at you like, okay, it can't be that crazy if you're serious about it.
Exactly. I mean, so I try to explain to them the benefits, not only to me, but the types of things that could happen in the future. Like we were discussing before, earlier, that one of the things that Second Life does that you don't get anywhere, and I think Joe touched on this earlier, you can meet and interact with people you would not normally meet, or it would be too expensive for you to meet in real life. I have friends all over the world, and I'm sure you do too, that you just couldn't. You couldn't visit Berlin, you couldn't visit Paris, but here you can. And so if we stress the positives and downplay a lot of the negatives that are out there, like I read that article, and just like you guys, I was pissed. So that's how I address it. And I'd leave it up to them. If they don't want to do it, that's fine. Just don't try to convince me not to.
Well, with this particular article, I don't want to really harp on it that much, but what was different with that was that this guy, and I never heard of him, but I look up on Twitter, and there's a bunch of other people who follow him and who are interacting with him from very high profile other publications, not only in the game space. Like there's a woman from Polygon who congratulated him for this article in his mention. The Nation magazine, which is a left-leaning investigative magazine that I subscribe to and have for years, highly regard, is interacting with this guy. So this is not a nobody, and that really depressed me to no end. That here is somebody with it's not some random blogger or troll. It's someone who has some stature in this realm, and why is it still acceptable. Basically, it's almost like at an editorial meeting in the morning. It's like, okay, it's a slow news day. What are we gonna do? I have an idea. Let's send somebody into Second Life and write about those weirdos over there. Is that still around? Yeah, sure. Let's do it. Let's send this dude. I mean, this is kind of how it feels like.
But that is for many people exactly how Second Life is. We see it from our side of the fence, and we know all the good corners. And it's like talking about Paris to people who've been there and only seen the slums. We have to make sure that people see what we see, and if they don't, we can't blame them. They don't.
Or Amsterdam is just like
stoned
Australians.
God, that's hell on earth. Amsterdam's a horrible city, but nobody knows.
One at a time. Linda, go ahead.
Okay. But just think, early on, there were people who would just pop in, hang around for a bit, leave, go write a book, and get famous.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They never spent that much time. They really only documented their own personal experience. And so you're going to have that with just about anything.
You're absolutely right. I mean, yeah, it's really. I'm sorry. It's really not unique to. It's really not unique to Second Life. I mean, we live in a context-free world right now where people jump on each other and I mean, Kanye West says that slavery was a choice, just to pick one of the craziest. Well, Joe, that's a famous rapper. I know Joe lives in the 1920s. She has no idea who that is. So we live in a crazy world of context-free debate, quote-unquote debate, and so Second Life is no exception. But it still is just it just seems that in any other context it would not be okay to kind of dump on it that way. But let's not harp too much on the negative. Diana, how do you deal with positively? How do you deal with this reality that there is this perception? Can you give us a tip, a strategy, if you will? How to talk?
I'm really not sure how to answer that.
This is the multi-million dollar question.
Well, I'm not a Lyndon. I'm not a content creator. I am not a educator or an SL-lebrity. So I'm not sure I really have a good answer.
But those are the best answers from the non-celebrities. Look, I've been a celebrity so long. I mean, I'm like the Kanye of SL, if you will. But with content,
half people don't know who you are.
I mean, I'm not sure my answer would add any value, is what I'm saying. I mean, I look at it.
Hold on. Go ahead, Diana.
Diana, you do some really interesting things in here in terms of the work that you do for the birthday celebration. So
exactly.
That in and of itself is a huge positive.
Well, that's about the only thing I do. When this isn't around, neither am I.
Yeah, but that's huge because, this is the biggest thing. So what you're doing with your involvement in SL15B, to celebrate that no matter what, I mean, to me, this is the best showcase of the type of, if you will, intrinsic motivation to just do it for its own sake, which I truly believe would make the world a better place.
I have lots of opinions. Like I was saying, I wasn't sure mine would add any value here.
It does.
But
trust me, I'm a celebrity.
I think it's really hard to like convince people.
Yeah.
Because Second Life is, you either get it or you don't. There's really no gray area here.
Yeah.
But sometimes it takes a little while to get it.
No. But
some
Diana,
people, they keep coming
back.
The
learning curve is still steep.
Yeah, the learning curve is very steep, but I don't know how else they could make it any easier and still keep it the same.
It's not supposed to be easy in a certain sense. Why not have a challenge?
Like real life.
Hold on.
The greatest thing. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I mean,
please
let Diana speak, please.
I've met some really wonderful people here. And it's evolved. Some of it has de-evolved or disevolved or gone extinct. I do this because I love seeing the community come together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was talking to Abner for a while yesterday, and we were talking about Downtime Wednesdays.
Right, when
That
they
was
were
probably
banging on the
coolest
grid.
thing ever.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Okay, let's reminisce on this crap. Oh my God. There were
I
actually
really
when-
wish you would bring Downtime Wednesdays back.
kids.
What was that? I mean, I've only been here 9 years. Someone tell me what it
Okay,
is.
Diana,
It was
explain.
cool. Go ahead, Diane.
Instead of rolling out code continuously, like they do now, they did it one day a week,
Oh, that
unless
was
it was an emergency.
crazy, Lyndon.
The main grid would close. Nobody could log in, but you could log into the beta grid. And you go over there, and there'd be people dancing. There would be speed building contests and people just acting like themselves.
Mhm.
And there would be Lindens there.
Mhm.
Ugh.
And
Having a
it
great
was
time.
just cool.
It's so scary.
It was.
Yeah.
And at
Yeah,
that time, you
I'm-
realized we're all part of this, no matter where you are in the echelon of SL.
And the content.
Those days were nice because it would get people out of their comfort zone and to come out of their little walled gardens, and they would actually have to
Exactly.
interact with other people.
Yep. Exactly.
Hold on.
Either
Abner is
there-
back. Wait.
The humans were only going to
My
grow through
comfort
challenge.
zone.
Guys, hold on. I gotta jump in here because
I'm
Abner,
done growing.
Abner's back and he's hiding himself just like everybody in Second Life. You don't know who anybody is. Abner, please open your lid and show yourself so that we know who you really are, because this is just a cesspool of.
lid.
There you go.
What's your
There he
lid?
is. He's opening the lid.
I didn't mean that.
Oh my God! Please close it. Push it deep
Yeah.
down.
There we go.
So yeah, I mean that was Diana. I mean, I guess what you're saying here is also that this was a way to. I mean, it was a more innocent time. It was a
I mean,
smaller.
you could tell the diehards.
Yeah.
The diehards were on the beta grid.
Yeah.
Everybody else was on Facebook or Twitter complaining that the grid was down.
Going to end.
Just in case the Lindens are all listening to this, please don't bring back those days.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
but-
was fun.
Yeah, but Diana is also saying it's a way
it sounds
to.
awful.
It's a way to foster. It's a way to foster community. I mean, it's bringing people together. It's like, we're building something together, and it's a construction site, and we embrace that construction site because Patch. See now, actually, okay, let's go the round, and everybody, let's reminisce about something that they miss from the olden days. Patch, what the
are
heck?
you sure you want just that?
What, Joe? No, you're barred from that
In
question.
silico.
Oh.
In silico.
So I'll
One at a
start
time.
with telehubs.
Patch is gonna start. What is a telehub? Is that a Teletubby's brother?
No, and it's not purple, and it's not a dinosaur or anything like that. No, for the uninitiated, back in the old days, you actually didn't have point-to-point teleporting. So in other words, like, you couldn't teleport from the spot we're sitting in to another spot specifically somewhere else on the grid. You had to, well, with the exception of private islands, but on the mainland, which is mostly what existed back then, you actually had to teleport from point to point within designated places, and anywhere in between those places that you decided you wanted to go, you had to take some other mode of transportation, whether it was walk, vehicle, fly, whatever it is you might wanted to do, boat. And this kind of created this forced immersion perspective of, making people have to group up and travel to various places, and that usually led to a lot of exploration, socialization, etc. And I actually thought it was a pretty important period of time in the early days of the grid, because it's actually what kind of got us going with that in general.
Yeah, that's such a good. And you know what? It was before my time, and I love the idea of telehubs. It and you use the term forced immersion. That's a brilliant term. I actually think it really increased the immersion. And of course, people will go like, yeah, well, that's crazy. If I wanna go somewhere, I wanna go there instantly. But wait a minute, you are in a world. It's gonna throw you out of the world if you just it's. I love.
We still
I
have
love
that in Berlin. We
Yeah.
sort of have that in Berlin. You can't directly teleport into the sim for most people anyway. You have to get a tram.
Mm. Right, you have to go to on the tram on the streetcar. Linda, what do you miss?
I know I've had my I've had my own personal Sherpa at times. You know, you can't make it across the room. Hi, can you just teleport me there? But that's asking too
Oh.
much.
That's just plain lazy. Okay. Okay, so Linda, let me go the round here. So Linda, what do you miss? What do you recall from the old days? I don't know how old you are, 2006 or earlier?
2007,
Ah, yeah.
early 2007.
What
Yeah,
what do you miss?
I agree with Diana. I really do miss the downtime Wednesdays, and I know people didn't like them, but you didn't have this incessant um, updates, and then things don't work. So I miss that, and I miss how easy it was for people to gather together. We're a lot more segregated than we used to be.
Well, it's like an urban sprawl in a way.
Yes.
People may I hope that people by now watched the documentary that I made called Our Digital Selves. I know that Cody is in the audience. You're one of the stars. Um, and in that documentary, I have tons of stuff that's on the cutting room floor. I think I'm going to push this out. But Tom Bölsdorf, who's an anthropologist for University of Irvine, and I follow him around, and he is basically the one of the narrators of the film. And we drove from Los Angeles to San Francisco to go to Linden Lab and go to High Fidelity, and we talked with Ebbe Altberg and with Philip Rosedale. And during that drive, we talked a lot about that sprawl and sort of that urban sprawl, that the growth where people are sort of torn apart and the communities are just kind of diminished like that. And the interesting thing is, on the way back, he has a son, Tom, and his partner. They have an adopted son, and he was very thirsty. And we were in Orange County. And then he looks on Yelp, like, where's the next grocery store, and there was one in a gated community. And so we pull into this gated community. We were, the whole entire like 8-hour drive or whatever, we were talking about Second Life. It was insane. I released that as an audiobook just for the crazy people who are interested in that. But then we pull into this gated upscale community, and we're both like, oh my God, this is like we just came through LA, and then we go to Orange County. We're like, oh my God, this is what happened to Second Life when everybody got a private island. How terrible is this? And then the store in there, and everything was in the Second Life context. So it was hilarious. Let me briefly say, people who are watching in Sansar, I see a bunch of people in my basement and also on YouTube and Twitch. Please chime in. Tell us your story. What do you miss from the olden days? And also, if you want, tell us your origin story. Why did you come to Second Life and why did you stay? There's Rebel Country 664S Pride is on the chat, and he says, I heard of Draxtor through watching Strawberry Sing stream. Well, Rebel Country 64S Pride, you should have. I don't know why you're watching her stream. I mean, I'm the bigger celebrity here. Let's face it. I'm just way more important. And Strawberry Sing is not even here today, is she? Of course, we're just kidding. Pookie, what do you miss from
You said that.
Patch?
I said I'm gonna tell her. You said that.
Don't tell her. I know you're. Oh my God, I forgot that Patch is here. He's calling her right now. They're out to get me. Pookie, what do you miss from the olden days? What do you miss from the olden days, whatever the olden days were or are?
Well, I guess I'd have to say again the science community and knowing that NOAA was here and JPL and all the universities. It was really geek fabulous. You knew that the Cylans, and for that I really want to thank Paradox Olbers and
I miss Noah.
Jeffrey Corbin and Troy McLuhan and some of the original science guys for setting aside. I think they were so ahead of their time. They said, sex and gambling, yeah, people love it, but let's just have a place for nerds, basically, for shy nerds, and this is it. It's in the Cylans, and no sex, no gambling, and became really vibrant and vital with universities and science and all that.
And Pookie, it was also a time where there was sort of access to, well, by the fact that these people were sort of roaming the grid, you had access to people, very easy access to fascinating people. And I remember when Ira Flato, host of Science Friday, was was doing a regular broadcast from SL, and I felt like, hey, I want to do an interview with him.
My God, right, buyers, sellers.
Yeah, but you just buyer sellers, but I'm talking about Ira Flato here. Sorry, buyers, no offense, but Ira Flato is one of the best public radio hosts on the planet. Hey, Ira. No, but what I mean, the access of people, you find out their name, and then you IM them, and then they IM you back, and then you're in a conversation. So that's something that I do miss. Joe, what are you missing?
From when? I mean, I've only been here for 9 years. What am I missing? Nothing really.
Flexi hair.
Sorry. No.
Joe misses flexi hair. Joy's very conservative. She doesn't like progress.
Not either that. I'm not really, no. But seriously, I've pretty much been in the same sim or region for the last 9 years, so I don't get out much, and things have only gotten better as far as I'm concerned. The only things I miss about Second Life are the friends who are no longer among us.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I mean, the longer you're here, the more people you know who passed away. I mean, that's just a fact of any type of life, first life, second life, whatever life, right?
Yeah, but besides that, I don't really see.
One at a time, my friends. Joe, finish your thought.
Besides that, from the olden days, I remember being on mainland and being bothered by trolls and grievers and seeing ugly things in the parcels next to Berlin. So I'm not going to miss any of that. As far as I'm concerned, things have only gotten better.
We have Joey Jimenez in the chat. She is asking what I was trying to ask earlier about why don't people speak up. That's what I was in fact asking, and I kind of know the answer too. I mean, you kind of withdraw when you're being attacked, when you get the feeling you're being attacked all the time, and then you just don't mention it. It's when people sometimes say, like, I don't talk about politics. What that really means is I have a strong opinion, but I don't need to talk about it at the Thanksgiving table because I don't want people to take the knife and stab each other in this environment. I mean, I handle things different.
That's the best thing about Thanksgiving.
And you're not even American.
Throwing mashed potatoes can get messy.
Well, any excuse to stab that uncle is a good one.
But Zoe Jimenez also asks if the FIC still exists. So the FIC stands for Fetid Inner Core. That's I don't know if that's
That's us.
I was told by Prokofyeva, and I'm going to ask answering the question what I miss most. I miss Prokofy. I know that she's still around. And Prokofyeva, if you don't know who she is, I'm not going to explain it. Look her up. There is a Wikipedia page. I met Prokofy in real life a couple of times, and she's actually very, very nice. She's very abrasive and provocative in SL. In real life, she's thoughtful and soft-spoken. And she called me the FIC 2.0. Patch, is the FIC still around? What is their significance, Patch? Are they the Illuminati? 3 questions in for the price of 1.
Yeah, they're totally still here. I'm just, I'm just not going to deny it anymore.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It was denied by the.
Have you got a list of the members? We want the names now.
Me. See, don't you see the badge on my shirt right here? It says I am Fick.
I'm not seeing anything. I've got 3 MB internet.
She's trying to plausible deniability. And Zoe Jimenez, who asked that question, says Prokofy is my mainland neighbor, not friendly. Well, Prokofy, I mean, I'm really working right now on her getting on the show for a special 1 hour show. So Prokofy, I don't know if you're watching this or if you're hiding out somewhere. Um, Abner, what do you miss most? When did you come in? When did you come into SL? And what do you miss most about the olden days?
I came in about 2006,
Ah,
and yeah,
that
yeah, a
was the
long
big. I
time.
mean, 2006, 2007
Eh,
was really. I mean, that was the big
Oh yeah,
where it was all over the place. If you missed that, if you missed the Second Life hype in 2006, 2007, I don't know what's wrong with you, right?
eh,
Am I
right,
right?
yeah, Joe. Uh, yeah, and getting all the way back to what we were saying before. One of the things that I probably would have came in, looked around, and then left, but I discovered that I can make things.
Hmm.
Wow, that's really cool, and that's what really got me hooked into Second Life.
Hmm.
Um, the thing I was gonna say, the thing that I missed the most was being able to rate people on their profiles.
Hmm.
You could actually pay like $20 and give them a rating, so you would have
Oh,
your
that is
ratings.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. So it's like, oh, he's got a high rating. That must be a nice person.
Oh my
Oh, I
God.
want that back. Bring
Just
that
pay
back.
to
That's
pay to play.
fantastic.
Well, there was a little pay to play, but it was kind of fun.
That's pretty
Pay to
awesome.
play.
But I was good. That's a different sim. Sorry, region. Um,
Mm.
I was gonna. I almost want to change my answer to like what Diana and I were talking about. With you had that sense of community where people would get together and they would actually meet each other, and that's kind of what I miss because in some fashion I feel like Second Life has kind of been taken over by the get off my lawn crowd.
Ah,
Get off my lawn.
Yeah,
That's
I
me.
don't want to talk to anybody. Get up! I got my little thing. Get away from me.
Those band lines.
And yeah, and the band
That is
lines
so
and
me.
the yeah. Um,
yeah. I
and,
mean,
but
Meeting
going back
thingy.
to it,
one
one
at
of
a
the
time.
things that I was just gonna say that a lot of times when we put like video kiosks and things up, I have a video that I'd put in there as a placeholder all the time, and it's actually one of Pookie's videos, the A Year in the Life.
Yeah, that's a
that
wonderful
I
video.
really love.
Thank you.
And and the part I like about it most is the part where it's like you have these people and then somebody just drops into their house. And instead of banning them and getting a security orb and kicking them out and adding to a banned list, they say hello and make a friend. And that's really the sense of community that I liked the most about Second Life that I see vanishing in some aspects.
I really love that you bring this up because again, this is really what Tom Berlstoff and I talked about when we drove up to Linden Lab. This was the topic of conversation while we were driving through California, and in that sense, Second Life is a mirror in an unfortunate uh, uh, development in the physical world where we also go towards gated communities, get off my lawn, and we're separating and we're siloing. And Second Life has this unique opportunity to bring us together because we can, if we choose, we can go outside of our comfort zone, we can experience the other and feel that there's commonality between us when we're crossing the lines
Ew.
of gender, ethnicity. I know, Joe, you're staying in 1920s
Absolutely.
Berlin. If somebody would build a
We are all
1930s
too
1930s
human.
Berlin, Joe would probably go like, "Nah, I'm not gonna go there."
No, then close it down.
Yeah, Joe, but I have my hand raised. I have something I really want to say.
Uh, this
After you.
what Abner is saying, this is so important, and that's why I want to close. We have a few minutes left. I kind of want to close the show with that sentiment. If we could go back there, that we realize that Second Life has this amazing opportunity because the avatar is our essence, and we can transcend these boundaries, these barriers that we put up, these walls, in the physical world. This is amazing. A tiny little anecdote. When we spoke to Philip Rosedale for the Our Digital Selves movie, just in March, when we shot the last scene, we were talking about the problems that Facebook is having, being accused of, siloing people and pushing different news items to different people of political persuasion and hiding certain news items, different news to left-leaning people, different news to right-leaning people. It's pretty understandable when you think about it that is also part of their business model. And Philip was saying, it was interesting because, with all the critique that Facebook now has to kind of grapple with, the criticism and the accusation that they were in part responsible for, not going to talk about the election, but siloing people, putting them in silos and keeping them apart, while the whole promise of Facebook was for bringing people together. And Philip says, and I'm paraphrasing, Philip says, doesn't it feel good to be vindicated? Because Second Life was and is still accused of, like, oh my God, you don't know who anybody is, and could be a pervert, could be a crazy person, could be a man, could be a woman, whatever, could be old, could be young. You never know with these weird avatars. And then it turns out in Facebook, where Mark Zuckerberg sold it as, like, if we just have our high school yearbook picture there and our polished bio blurb, then everybody knows who everybody is, and it's just not happening. So, yeah.
Can I just quickly jump in and say
Please.
one thing that I really do miss, and I think it was so super, where in the old days, and when I came in 2008, there was SLCN. Second Life, of course, asked them to change the name, just as I had the second question. It had to become the first. They changed it to Treat TV, but Wiz Norberg and Texas Tin Tam and Star Sonic, they were responsible for putting on real programming. And I think that would just be a kick-app thing for Linden Labs to do. I mean, not open it up to everyone. People would have to have, produced shows and sound checks and all the rest of it, but it would be so dynamite, especially now, especially with everybody becoming so interested in virtual reality, to have a Second Life network where people could either submit shows or do shows live. Obviously, there'd be a vetting process, but I think that would just be fantastic. Everything from talk shows to races to, you name it.
Mm-hmm. And I actually still own the virtualpublicradio.org website. So Linden Lab, listen, for the very reasonable price of $25,000 US. Is that too much? I'll give it to you. We're gonna $1 Linden, $1 Linden, $2 Linden.
A kiss from Ebbe.
Ooh, okay.
That's what you'd sell it for.
You know you would. That. I know I would.
Real money will make real content, and that's an investment. You want to invest in this grid, you show people what's possible. I came in here in 2006 because I wanted to build a virtual world based on performance. I had produced the Crimbo Christmas Carol and Shakespeare and all kinds of plays on another virtual platform, and I came into Second Life to see what it was because I was writing a 70-page business plan at the time. I got stuck in a Best Buy parking lot, and I didn't return until 2008. But when I did, I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and I had the first question and the second question up within 6 weeks. This is a dynamite and amazing platform for entertainment, and I urge the powers that be to consider it. And real money will give you real content, and Drax, certainly one of the guys and Joe to help run it. And me, I'm available.
And Pookie, who was stuck in a Best Buy parking lot. Now, Second Life is still around, but where is Best Buy now? They're diminished. They only have 3 stores left, and we're still around.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta wrap this up. Zoe Jimenez here says it's funny. She says, I think the rating system that we mentioned earlier became a Black Mirror episode. That is kind of true. That's one of my favorite Black Mirror episodes. I forgot the title, but everybody is rated. Yeah, Second Life, happy birthday. Quick birthday wish in 1 or 2 sentences. We're going to take it from left to right. We're going to start with Abner. And let me just say this Saturday, Strawberry Singh and I will get a tour with Donnie Daviu through the best of SL15B. We're going to stream that to all whatever Twitch is. I don't know. I'm old. I don't know what Twitch is. It's some sort of thing. But now, Abner, everybody start with happy birthday, Second Life, and then follow that up with a couple of sentences, like don't drink and drive, don't get into...
I guess I would say happy birthday, Second Life. Second Life is what you make it. Second Life is what you make it. If you want it to be horrible, it'll be horrible. If you want it to be wonderful, it will be wonderful. But Second Life is BYOI. You have to bring your own imagination.
Awesome. And that goes back to Joe freaking Weeks from Exploring the Digital World of Second Life. Second Life on its last legs. That's exactly why he got what he deserved. With zero imagination, he got zero imagination for his garbage article. Sorry, I had to say this. Pookie, happy birthday, Second Life.
Happy birthday, Second Life. Long may you reign. And I look forward to being here for another 15 years, at least.
Joe Yardley. She died. Joe? Joe, are you back in the 1920s? Do I have to send you a telegram? Let's fill this in with Linda. Linda Sauter-Rowe. And I never asked you if I pronounced your name correctly. I apologize.
You did. Happy birthday, Second Life. We have, this is going to be more than 2 sentences,
Please.
The opportunity to build the life that we would like to have in real life. Why don't we take that opportunity and do it? And in the meantime, come on out to all the great performances we have over the next week or 2 and enjoy the great, wonderful talent that exists in this beautiful world.
Awesome. Patch?
Well, happy birthday, Second Life. It's been 15 wonderful years. I'm looking forward to another 15 years and being a part of that. Second Life enables people from all over the globe to connect in meaningful ways, create, socialize, and it offers a unique ability to be able to kind of experience a wide range of openness and diversity amongst all sorts of cultures and people. And I think that's probably the most powerful attribute of Second Life, and I hope that continues going.
The openness and diversity, and that's exactly what we need. We need openness and diversity, and that could be the glue that will enable the human race to survive.
Yep.
Diana.
Certainly.
What is your happy birthday wish?
Happy birthday, Second Life. Remember, this is your world. This is your opportunity to make it perfect.
Oh.
And if I could have a wish, I wish that none of the moles vaporize me on sight after this event is over.
Is there some sort of event like that? Oh my God, it's all about violence here in this violent world. What is this? A cesspool of violence.
I've had to ask so many questions. And Abner, can you fix this? Abner, can you fix that? Abner, this is broke.
Must destroy. Exterminate. Exterminate.
Abner, open your lid and show us what you can do.
I had to ask Patch a question via email, and I kept on talking, no, you do it.
That's why we love you, Diana. You can ask those questions.
There's the Abner. Look at him. He can do everything. If you look at him, you know it. So, happy birthday, Second Life. Being the father of an energetic, wonderful human being who was born in the same year as Second Life was born. I know what the challenges are when you're at that age, Second Life, but I also know that what the opportunities are. And if you are rubbing against authority, wait a minute. Am I talking about my son or Second Life now? Huh, who cares? If you're rubbing against authority and you have a critical mind, it might be challenging, but in the long run, it's what we need. We need entities that are uh, that are that help us grow and help us imagine more than we ever thought we were capable of. Thank you, Second Life, for having me, for not banning me.
For
Wait a minute.
showing us we have no limits.
Is that my inside voice just because I impersonated Ebbe a couple days ago as an alt? Oh, wait, was that against the terms? Oh my God, is that my inside voice? That's the show. I gotta run. I gotta run away from these lindens. Well, thank you, Abner. Thank you, Pookie. Joe crashed just in time. Linda, Patch, Diana, everybody who's watching this. We have quite a few people on the YouTubes. I'm not watching Twitch right now. We have people in Sansar. Come to Second Life and look at this unbridled imagination that is on display here. We will be back Saturday at 11 a.m. with Strawberry Sing, and we're going to go through SL15B. I have no shame in plugging this over and over and over because and SL Pride is happening, SL Music Fest, it's all happening at the same time. Second Life is the showcase of what a diverse society could look like if we find the guts to implement that in this torn apart physical reality, and we can get this inspiration here and we can transfer it. I gotta wrap it up, but I gotta say this. I'm on the record many times over to say that what we actually learn here, I don't see this as escapism, it's augmentation. I see this as something that we can bring into the physical world. I don't see this as a waste of time. I can see the lessons that we learn in engaging with other people that are different from us and being open-minded and being patient and learning and growing as incredibly invaluable assets that we can bring into the physical world and make the physical world actually equally as good as I can't find it. You know what I'm saying. Awesome. Happy birthday, Second Life. Come to see me at Pride every evening from 4 to 8 p.m. says Patch. Come explore SM15B today through July 1st. And that's it. And thank you guys for coming. Awesome. Can I get a big round of applause? Who has applause sounds? Come on, guys. Have I muted this? Wait a minute.
Thank you, Drax.
There we go. Come on. Some applause. I miss those old
and
gestures.
And we'll see you next in afterlife.com.
Afterlife.com. Have you registered that domain? Oh my God. Abner is opening his lid. It's time to...
Yay!
Awesome. I'll see you guys on Saturday. That's it for the show. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. Oops. I just brought in a commercial from Spotify. That's a terrible way to end the show. Okay. Spotify. I hate you. Goodbye. Goodbye. And see you guys
Thanks,
Saturday.
Drax. This was fun.